folks, welcome back to Attingham Park, and the last video I did like this was quite popular, so we're going to carry on and we're going to try and do another live-ish video. That could be a problem. This is why you don't do things live, I guess. Yeah, so we'll see how we get on with that. No idea how long this is going to be, but hey, what could possibly go wrong? Jobs for today. I want to finish getting this hay road up and then baled, and then we're going to get the sugar sold. So thanks to Rob for messaging me about controlling universal auto load. I was right, you can tell it to load a certain type of pallet or material. The controls just weren't showing up in the HUD, and I think that's just because there were too many things popping up. So I've made a note of the right key, and hopefully we can get that to just load the sugar. I think there might just be sugar up there now anyway. So yeah, we're going to get that done as well. Hopefully, in fact, it's just over there. And I need to turn off the interactive icon markers again. They are switched on from doing a video that you'll see in a couple of days' time. Which I actually recorded on here, which is to do with animals and water, which, yes, Kartik, is quite ironic that I made a video about how to tell when your animals need water when I wasn't giving my sheep water. Yeah. That was not my finest move. Anyway, I have sorted that. As I said, I think in the last video on here, I have set the sheep up now so they do automatic watering. So we don't have to worry about that, but I did use this map to show off that, how you can tell whether they need water or not when you actually pay attention to your animals. So that's coming after the weekend, I believe. So yeah, it did have the slight problem, and YouTube seems to be being very weird today. Had the slight problem yesterday or Tuesday with the video not processing and it coming out in 360p. So I set it to private, and overnight it has processed, so it will have been today's video on Wednesday. Yeah, I've not had that in absolutely ages, and it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So it's kind of thrown my schedule about a little bit. Ultimately it's meant I'm making one less video this week, which is not a bad thing, I guess. Yeah, because there is more traveling. Well, not more traveling. I've got another date that I'm not at home this week, so yeah, that is that. Or yeah, it will have been this week because I think it's going to come out of the weekend. I'm losing track. So anyway, yeah, we are sort of live. So by now, because so this is coming out of the weekend, there wasn't a stream with Paul this week because I've got a chance to spend time with Mrs. D after work, so I was doing that rather than spending it with a crazy German alien. Seemed more fun. But I am still trying to work on setting up so that when I join, I can also stream so that people can see my point of view. And I guess just get a stream that's the English bit, so you don't have to find it amongst the many hours of full streaming in German. So yeah, that's coming. I basically need to be motivated enough to sit and set up that bit of OBS, pretty much, and I haven't been yet. So what else have we got to ramble about? I've got a few things actually. One cool one. So yesterday, well, I noticed it yesterday, I passed 750,000 downloads for the mods that I have made, which I find completely insane, because they were all just mostly they were all just things that I thought would be cool to have in game. The slightly weird thing is that the most popular one is a mod. I'm using it on Ohio, and we used it on the competitive multiplayer, but it's a mod that I have not used a huge amount, and a mod that I basically made because someone said, could you do this? And I was curious as to if I could, and that is the fixed crop prices. That is by far my most popular mod. I wonder, I can't remember who I was chatting to, someone, it was Mark, I think, Someone said that, I think it was Mark said the DJ Graham uses fixed bot prices, and that might be why it's so popular, because if you've not heard of him, he has quite a big audience, and that probably helps with the downloads. And the fact it's on all platforms. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I did want to do some more things around animal pastures, but I just haven't had the time or motivation. Modding is something that I have to be motivated for, because it's not something that is natural to me. Doesn't look that much narrower. Let's just nudge it out a little bit. I reduced it because I've had problems in the past with it being the implement being narrower than what BCA picks up. So yeah, I need to be in the right state of mind to mod. It's usually something that I'll sit down and tackle in a big block of time when I'm feeling like I want to do it, basically. And I haven't felt like that in a little while, so I haven't done any. But what I want to do is make, and I think I did speak about it in a video recently, I want to make a bunch of pastures, open pastures that support grazing, that you can just drop into a field and do stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to work on. I haven't done any of it yet. At this point, I will say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you all supporting the channel. Patreon is growing nicely. It's really cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Always amazes me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy what you get back from it. Let's make a quick note of the time of that for the edit. Yeah, so the things that I had made a note to talk about. Let me just change screens. But there are a couple. These are quite random. The first one is particularly random, I think. You may not. The word friend. So I was chatting to some people that I do consider to be friends on WhatsApp. And they were talking about someone that we all know, and some stuff that happened in their life. And one of them said, yeah, I know, I'm their friend. And what they meant was they had clicked the friend button on Facebook, because they weren't particularly being friendly in the way they were talking about them. And yeah, it's something that is just how my brain works. There are people that I have on sites like Facebook that I have clicked that magic little button that says they're a friend, and they're really not. There are people that I know and I might be interested in chatting to occasionally, or have swapped a couple of messages with, but I don't consider them friends. And yeah, so it was just an interesting thing that stuck in my mind. One of the really cool things that I've got through doing this is a bunch of actual people that I consider friends. People that I chat to on Discord, that I've met through doing this, that I do really consider to be friends, and that's kind of cool. And there were probably a bunch of people that I occasionally talk to or whatever that I would consider to be acquaintances, and that's the word that I like to use. Facebook used to have a feature where you could do that. I don't know if they still do, where you could add people to a list of acquaintances rather than friends. But yeah, it was just an interesting one that stuck in my mind. There is that. What I'm going to do is we're going to finish growing this field. I might then set Courseplay up to grow the other one while we get the baler out, just to speed things up a bit, because otherwise this is going to take quite a while, and I would like to get this job done today because it's been hanging around for a bit. So yeah, I might try and keep doing videos like this for every so often. Depends if I have time to do them like this, if I'm honest. And again, it's one of those things where you have to be in the right frame of mind, because I find the talking bit really quite difficult sometimes, and if I'm not in the mood to talk, then I can't make the video. But you know, if I can play, I enjoy playing Farm Sim, and quite often I'll play, and then I can get to, I can get a video recorded, edited to the point that it needs commentary, and then at some point I can just do the chatting for 20 minutes. It's much more I find it much more difficult to do it like this, but people enjoy it a lot more, so we'll see how we get on. I really should have set this to a much wider width. We're nearly done now. Anyway, I think Courseplay will probably run at this kind of width as well, because that will mean that we don't really miss anything. Might struggle on the headlands. We might just see how Courseplay does on its own. You can always run it twice. It doesn't take that long. And it's not even taking me 10 minutes really to throw this up, so it's not going to be too bad. And then while Courseplay is working, we can grab a different tractor and the baler. So, yes, I know I'm using a massively overpowered tractor for this job. I really like the JCB and I don't use it enough, so I'm using it. Kind of that. It's a really, really nice all-round tractor, particularly with the front loader. So I brought this to do front loader work because moving is particularly, I think it was moving, it was either stacks of silage bales or stacks of hay bales. They're quite heavy, and the telehandler that I had was struggling to pick them up, whereas, you know, the JCB is a big tractor. It's four-wheel steer, so it works well for that. You can put a big weight on the back, so it can handle a lot as a front loader tractor. So that's why I bought it. I could afford to buy it as well, which is a bonus. We've just run up that a little bit as well. Yeah, it's a tractor that I really like. I see them not a lot, but sometimes in the UK. I actually saw a truck go past with 2 on the back this week, and it was really cool. I tend to see quite a few transport trucks actually with tractors on the back on my work commute around the M25. I'm assuming that's because they come in through ports nearby, or are going places. Yeah. Okay, let's try and get Courseplay set up, shall we? So, definitely not 10 meters. Maybe? If we just go for 10 flat, let's try that. So we're going to do 2 headlands, 3 headlands. On the center. Of course, the reason that I do it starting on the center for windrowing is it just makes a neater finished field. Because as it goes around the outside, it just tidies everything up. So that's why I do that. And this can run while we find a tractor to do the baling with. Just use. I always forget that I've got the Deutz on here, which is one of my favourite tractors. So, because it's saving, we're saving. Because it's always on mowers. It's always round here with the mowers. So we're going to take the mowers off, and we're going to make use of it. I can probably drop them there actually. And that's not going to make that turn. Let's just put it over here. There we go. Right, where did I leave the big baler? There. And it probably makes sense to use a tractor this big on a baler that big, because it's going to need a lot of power and it's quite big. So that's what we're going to do. You need to try and turn around without crashing too much. There we go. Yeah, I love this tractor. I quite like it in grey, which is not a standard colour. I had it in grey in FS19. I had it in grey with tracks on the back, and it's really nice. I think the green looks good as well. I just think that modern Deutsch tractors look really good in general. So we actually have more fields to bale than I thought, because I'd forgotten that I'd already cleared one out. Or not cleared one out, windrowed one. let's see what happens with the fact that there is some straw in here. What size bale are we on? Cool, we're on big bales. That's good. I do actually want to make some smaller bales as well for the sheep. Might be that we leave the field we've just windrowed and do the HD bales on that one, because it's going to be useful just through the winter to have some small bales to feed to the sheep rather than having to use these huge, probably 9,000 litre bales or something like that. Just because it's really tricky to get a mix with those. So this will be doing that will be a better option. So, come on, let's try and make sure we get all of the hay. Like I said, it's got a narrow pickup. It's not. I was just doing a bad job of driving, which won't really surprise anyone, I don't think. It does appear to be somewhat narrow. I don't know. It's a base game baler, but it's why I like on Greenlands having the one with the windrower built in, because that makes it so much easier. And there's the JCB doing its windrowy thing. Kind of cool. Yeah, I think we'll HD bale that one. What I might do, and I know I said what I was going to do, but it might change. The downside of doing the video like this is I find it harder to jump big sections of stuff, which means it's either incredibly long or I don't do as much as I plan to. So we'll see which one this ends up being. I'm going to get some of this baled though, and I will be back. We're back. So I ended up baling, oh, we're going to go that way, the headland of that field as well. And what I thought there was that we can then make small bales, HD bales off of the up-down roads. That probably is going to give us plenty. And the other big field wasn't ready to be baled yet. So we're going to whiz around the headland on this field and get the bales all loaded. So we want control left here. Now, I'm not sure how many bales we're going to fit on here. I cannot remember if this is the version where I have tweaked the height that the bales can be stacked or not. So we'll see. If not, I might need to jump out of the game and just increase it a bit so we can fit a decent number of bales on here. Yeah, I'm just going to clear the headland and then we'll... excuse me. Right, cool. That's fine. Ooh, another save. Just going to clear the headland and then we'll go grab the HD baler, because that'll be... Are we in bale collecting mode? There we go. Okay, we just missed one for some reason. Or that picked it up separately. I'm not sure. No. Okay, as long as we get the field cleared, I do not mind. We can worry about getting them in neat stacks later. In fact, I might do that off camera or in the next video, depending on how I do that recording. I don't think it's going to let us pick this one up, but that's not a problem if it doesn't. Oh, okay, right. So that is fine. Let's jump in the. Oh, let me click on it. The little voucher, which is next to this anyway. There we go. And then we want the HD baler, which I think is around here. This is going to give us a lot of HD bales, but we have the bale accumulator thingy, so it will be fine. We'll end up with big packs of them. That one, the Attingham. Could probably use a smaller tractor for this. It would be nice to have a nice little old tractor, but I don't, so we'll use this little voucher. It will do a fine job. And again, I have a lot of them on here. It's one of my favourite tractors. I used this a lot in FS19 on the pig farm I had on Oakfield Farm. It was the tractor I started with on there in green, and it did a lot of hours, and I never sold it in quite a long Let's Play. So yeah, that's why I like it. It's got some fond memories, and it's a really useful little tractor. I'd say for a long time it was the only tractor I had on that farm. It did everything we needed to do to run a big farm, including planting all our crops. Oh yeah, that's why I like it. Yeah, and at some point we'll maybe pick up an older tractor to run this, but for now we've got this. So, right, here we go. Let the insane number of bale production commence. But yeah, these are really useful for feeding sheep, where you need to put a relatively small amount of feed in the trough at a time. Same as we did for the whole crop silage bales, and then wrapped those. We'll do the same. Well, we won't wrap these, but we will run them through the Attingham accumulator, so we get a few big bales rather than many little bales, and then we can cut those open as we need them. Looks like hopefully the JCB is on the headlands now. That would be nice, because then I can start getting the other baling done. Might be that we just get all the baling done today. Otherwise it's going to be quite long. I'm sticking, although with this format of video I need to stick on ×5 so that I don't make no progress in time. So that is an issue, because I find it harder to do the jobs that I don't show so much of. So yeah. While we're doing this, the other thing that I was going to chat about is I saw someone, there's two topics in this one. Someone asking, do I need to or should I buy the Platinum DLC? Now in my mind, things like that are very personal, you know. If you don't like logging, and I think this person said that they don't like logging, then for me, there's really very little in there that is worth justifying the cost. Now, I have bought it because as a content creator, it's useful and it supports giants. It's a different argument. If you want to support giants and buy it, then yes. But yeah, so I think that's a decision you have to make for yourself. You can't rely on other people to make that value decision for you. But the bit that interested me was, and maybe it's because season passes are different for a lot of games, but someone said, if you've got the season pass, it's free. If you've got the season pass, you've paid for it. It's not free. It is a huge part of what you paid for in the season pass. It's not like, I guess, some other games where the season pass is needed for online elements or something, maybe. I don't know. You know, the season pass is paying for the DLCs. It's not free. It's what you spent your money for. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I spend far too much time sometimes scrolling through Facebook. And I very rarely comment on general Facebook pages, or like, you know, like farm sim Facebook pages. but I do find it quite interesting to watch and see how people behave and things, and it's quite useful for getting talking points, you know, because it gives me a view of a different part of the community. Now, the person that said if you've got the season pass it's free, I'm not mocking them. It's just, you know, it's not free. If you've got season pass, that's what you paid for in the season pass, and arguably the platinum expansion is the, you know, the highest value bit of the season pass. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I'm guessing we're not that far away from finding out what the first pack is in season pass 2, which is cool. I have season pass 2 now. If you want to get the season pass, use code disturbed to pick that up, obviously, because you want to do that, because that helps me out rather a lot. Well, a little bit, but eventually a lot. And yeah, I'm curious as to what we're going to get with that again. Part of the reason that I got that, well, 2 parts: 1, content creation; 2, supporting giants. You know, I want to show them that Farm Sim is worth them sticking with and spending money on and all that kind of thing. So, and that I want Farm Sim 22 to stick around for long enough for people to develop cool stuff. And the best way to do that is to support them. You know, they have bills to pay, they have wages to pay. So yeah, that's yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's in there. I'm hoping it's better than last year's. It's got potential. Obviously, there's hints about things like baling corn stalks. So it'd be interesting to see how they do that. Corn stalks, I think, were intended all along. There is hints in the XML for the fruit types that they were there. They were just commented out. So I think it was intended all along, and we're just getting what was planned. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how they make use of them, whether they are an alternative for things like bedding or feeding through a BGA and that kind of thing, and how they manage that. Whether I'm going to have to update the BGA mods, who knows? Whether they do like maizePlus does and they attach them to other things. Yeah, we will see. This is a lot of bales. I got, yeah, there's a lot of bales just from this little field, because I forgot I had the Vermeer pack installed. Gives us a bale counter. So yeah, that's the first time I've used this baler since I had that. So a lot of bales. It's going to take a little while to get those in the accumulator. What I could do is set the big baler off on course plate as well. I can just transfer the course across. That is a benefit of doing the windrowing on course plate. And that generally, but starting on the up-down rows and then doing the headlands generally works better for using the baler as well, because there's a less chance of you having a bale on a headland. You get them occasionally still, but not as much. And that is a lot of little bales. I also have not done a thumbnail yet, so let's do that. I know most creators don't show this either, but this is ProShot if you're not used to it. It's a really cool mod. Lets you pause the game and you can move the sun around and things and change the weather and all sorts of stuff. Much better than some other options for getting screenshots. And yeah, that will have probably been the thumbnail that you clicked on. Yeah, it's not taken too long to get these bales. I have exhausted my my chat topics, so we're going to get a bit more random now probably. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to get this finished up and I will be back when we have the bale accumulator. Okay, so I've grabbed the Arcusin multi-pack D14. It appears to have some, I think they're grass bales in from when we were doing the, might even be crop swath. Not sure. Don't know if it's going to let us pick up the other bales at the same time. I'm going to have a quick try, and then I actually want to see if we can get Courseplay doing this job. No. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, but no. Okay. I don't know if I can force this to empty. I'll be back. And it's empty. Had to get the tools out and do a little bit of work to rip those bales out. They were crop swath bales. The real version of that is I had to go into the XML and delete them from the beta because I couldn't work out how to get rid of them. But I'm not sure if Courseplay will handle collecting these bales. It looks like it will. Would be very cool if it can. I'm actually just going to grab a little screenshot of that. And I'm going to let that do its thing because we need to... There it is. Need to get JCB off the field. I'm going to copy that course just in case. I think we'll do some of this big baling whilst Courseplay does that bale collecting job, because that's going to be a bit mind-numbing because you have to run quite slow with that. Get it to work. So, yeah, I didn't fancy that job. We're going to do the baling job. There we go. So, I always wonder whether, you know, a lot of channels do it, and I'm not knocking them. I do it sometimes. The whole thing where people use almost Courseplay exclusively for doing stuff. Actually, it depends on the person a lot. Quite often, I don't enjoy watching someone watch their tractors use Courseplay. I'd rather watch people use their tractors. So partly why I don't generally show so much of just Courseplay and auto drive working. And sometimes that's a fun challenge to get it working. But I want to play farm sim. So I'm not knocking the people that play that way. So many ways to play farm sim, but personally I like to play farm sim when I'm playing farm sim, unless I'm not, there are some times when you just want to stick Courseplay on and let it do its thing, but not so much for me these days. Not so much for me. I quite like, weirdly, I don't know, not weirdly, actually doing the jobs by you play, isn't it? Let's just throw those bales out the back so we don't get them on the short run of the headland. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably doing this field in a really random order. It's probably wrong, but I don't care. When we get on a straight-ish bit, let's open up. Yeah, I'm not sure how many bales we've made this session, and I resaved the game, so we won't know now. Anyway, something else random to chat about. Occasionally chat about stuff. I have, in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, watched all 3 series of Slasher on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that. It's definitely not one to watch with your kids. Definitely an 18 plus, 18, whatever. Been a long time since I've watched some straight up horror. The first series I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was something very different. And then I kind of got invested in it, and the second series was good. But not as good as the first. The third series, most of it I watched because I wanted to get to the end of it. And then there was a really cool twist at the end. I'm not going to tell you any of the details, but yeah, it's sat and watched all 3 series. Some really gory moments in it, but just some entertainment. We're watching quite slowly Van Helsing as well on Netflix, which is very different to Van Helsing that I was thinking of. But again, we're enjoying it. The first episode of that, I was ready to bin that off. Did not think it was particularly good, but second episode got better, and yeah, really enjoying that. It's good fun to watch, and I tend to like my sort of apocalyptic fiction anyway. Yeah, enjoying that. I finished watching Wednesday as well. I was less invested in that towards the end. The ending was okay, but I could have taken or leave that. I'm not sure if I'll watch any more of that. It was very popular, but enjoyed it at first. But again, kind of faded towards the end on that one. Yeah, we hope to watch. I'm not going to be able to tab to this, am I? Just oh no, I can. Yeah, you got yourself stuck there. There we go. A little bit of dagger strength. And we'll set you off again. There you go. Can I get back to the Deutz, please? Okay. Let's do it this way. Park vehicle seems to have reset itself, I think. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, so what I was supposed to say is we're hopefully going to see if we can watch the new Avatar movie this weekend. Or will have seen by the time you see this. So hopefully we will have watched it. Mrs. D loved the first Avatar movie, so figured that would be a good one to go and see. It's very long. Very long. It's like 3.25 hours or something stupid. So it's a bit of a marathon effort, but hey, I think it'll be interesting. I hope it will be good. The first one was kind of good and kind of weird. So yeah, we watched that again recently. I don't know how you guys. A bit like I kind of watch YouTube in the background. We quite often end up leaving like one of the movie channels playing or something, and we have Sky Movies. I don't know what the equivalents are in other countries, but they tend to have, you know, like yeah, we'll just stick a bunch of movies on and just let them play in the background. They're movies that we've seen quite a few times, so it doesn't really matter if you miss a bit. They're quite, you know, they're just good entertainment to drop in and out of. I'm quite often gaming, and Mrs. D likes to draw. So yeah, between us, we're usually doing something else. Both doing something else whilst we're watching TV. So yeah, it works. So we quite often rewatch things as well for the same reason, that it makes just nice background. Kind of background watching, yeah. And a bit the same, it's quite often how I consume YouTube. I'll have YouTube playing while I'm cooking or whatever. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get this job finished and we'll be back in. So we are pretty much done with the baling. Courseplay is doing a cracking job over there. It's not got stuck since, and that makes that job much easier. It's really random, the route that it's taking. I thought it would have, you know, just run up and down the lines, but it's just randomly driving around the field picking up bales. But I'm not going to complain, because that is quite a time-consuming job. You know, it's not even done all of it yet, and we have baled this entire huge field. So, and we've got quite a lot of bales off of here. We are still not going to get around to selling the sugar. I'm sorry about the flickering trees. I'm having real problems with that lately. I need to do a bit of an explore on my game settings and see if I can fix that. Clearing the shader cache sorts it for a little while. Having a lot of problems with it on Furling as well, because there are a lot of trees on there. I need to have a bit of a play with my settings and try and sort that out. I did say we were going to sell the sugar. We are not again, because I'm pretty sure this is a fairly long video. So once we've got the bales, these 2 runs done, we are going to call it a day. Weird deer running through the baler. Between videos, excuse me, I'm going to get the bales back to the yard, and part of the next video will be bale stacking, which is always fun. I really enjoy bale stacking in FS22. So yeah, the packed mini bales will go to the sheep. The rest of these bales will be going up to the flickery trees, the main yard behind us, to feed the cows through the winter. We've got plenty of bales down up at Wellington Farm, so don't need to take any more over there. But it's a shorter run, and as I spoke about earlier with JCB and some bale stacking or bale handling capabilities, that is what we will be using probably. Need to do a bit of tidying up in that shed as well, because the bales that are in there already are a bit of a mess, so we'll get those tidied up. We'll get all of these stacked, and then we need to work on getting these grass fields back in a good condition, because they are not in awesome condition at the moment. I had a little look, and they do need some lime, and they might need some fertilizer. I'm not sure about the last bit, but we'll definitely need some lime. So the job we're going to be tackling. A nice chunk of hay over in that field over there, just to finish this bale off. The leftover from when we did that field. Oh, still not quite enough. There are some pockets over here. We should get this bale finished. Come on. It really hasn't taken that long. There we go. You've seen most of this work. Okay, let's unload those bales. Hold that up. And I'm going to say thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions below. And if you're not already, think about subscribing. And I will see you next time on Attingham Park.